white bins?
No, we still got to get them, but we got them.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nick Langworthy. I'm proud to serve as chairman of the New York State Republican Party, and I'm very honored to be joined by so many people here from the community that are out there working hard to register new voters, express their disappointment in what's going on in the Biden administration, but also to be joined by a great Congressman, Chris Jacobs, and a great future Congressman, Singletary. And we are standing here at the epicenter of all that's wrong in Joe Biden's agenda. High gas prices are the direct result of Joe Biden and the Democrats' radical energy agenda. This is a real-life example of how the government affects our daily lives. Each vehicle that pulls up here, inside is a person just trying to get about their life. People filling up the tank to go to work, take their kids to school, seniors heading to doctor's appointments. They're being held hostage by a government that's controlled by environmental zealots. The Biden-Schumer-Pelosi agenda, that is a trifecta of incompetence. And let's face facts here, folks, in Rochester. Joe Morelli's a rubber stamp for that lousy agenda. These people are so wildly out of touch with the average person. They think everyone is sitting around at home dreaming of a Green New Deal, and that people are willing to sacrifice anything about their financial future to achieve it. You can't afford to fill your tank to go to work, it's no problem. The Biden administration says, go out and buy yourself a $60,000 Tesla. They are absolutely devoid of reality. Biden and the Democrats want you to believe that high gas prices are entirely the result of Vladimir Putin invading the Ukraine. Now suddenly, all the so-called Washington fact checkers, they've gone into hiding because he should get a pants-on-fire rating for that lie. The facts are the facts, and gas prices started to rise long before Putin assembled a single troop near the Ukrainian border. And people understand it, and people get it, and people don't buy the nonsense. I knew there was something happening as I was traveling the state last year, and these great little stickers started popping up on gas pumps. I'm sure you've seen them. And usually what I'd see is kind of an arm left because the worker had scraped part of it off. But it was Joe Biden, pointing at the gas price saying, I did that. Because people understood, and it was completely organic. This was not an action of any political entity. This was someone that came up with this idea and circulated it, and it became a viral sensation around the country. This happens because it seems Democrats want to cover up a lot of things that they're responsible for in saying and doing these things, and now they're being held accountable for their record for the first time in a long time. Joe Biden's war on energy is one promise he's actually kept. He pledged during the campaign, and I quote, no more subsidies for the fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. End of story. Then on day one, Biden used his executive authority to unilaterally cancel the Keystone Pipeline. He placed a moratorium on oil and gas leases on federal lands. He restricted offshore drilling. He rescinded energy production leases, and he announced plans for stringent new regulations on oil and gas production. That's just one snippet of what he's done to cause prices to rise. The average U.S. household in 2021 spent an extra $600 out of their family budgets for gas costs, and $70 more in higher energy costs to heat their homes due to Joe Biden's radical energy agenda. We're sitting on nearly 300 million barrels of oil reserves right here under our feet, more than any other nation in the world. And the Biden administration has the ability today at this very moment, to relieve New Yorkers and Americans pain at the pump. The reapers are honking the horn because they know that this administration is to blame for these policies. Energy independence is not just an economic issue, it's an issue of national security. We're now being forced to get our oil from OPEC nations, which include countries like Venezuela and Iran. We went from being energy independent with low prices to paying $4 or $5 a gallon, and we're beholden to countries that want to do us harm. And the President of the United States, offers the idea that we're going to deplete our strategic reserves by 1 million barrels a day for an unknown amount of time. We're telling our opponents, we're telling those that want to do us harm, that we're depleting our strategic energy reserves. That's a national security issue as well. And it's insane. So we're out here to say enough is enough. The Republican Party is fighting to protect your wallet and your family's safety. And what better place to come talk to voters than when they're seeing the harmful impacts of the Democrats' policies in real time than right here at a gas station. We're going to be doing this all over New York. We were in Buffalo last week. We're here in Rochester this week, registering voters and bringing them out into the team, out to the field, and at the polls because people of all stripes are demanding change. They can't afford Democrats' radical energy agenda. They just want to be able to live their lives without government punishment. And that's why this year is shaping up to be the largest red wave in modern history. Just like 1994, just like 2010. One-party rule in Washington and in this state of New York has been an utter failure. What we need in this country, in this state, is a return to common sense, and the New York State Republican Party will deliver that this November. And that starts with re-electing Congressman Jacobs and electing Ron Singletary to the U.S. Congress, and unleashing American energy independence in production, lowering gas prices now. Thank you, and now we're going to hear from our Congressman, Chris Jacobs.
Thank you, Chairman. Great to be here today. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Patriots behind us. Ron Singletary, I look forward to serving with you in the Congress. And a lot better when you get there because we'll be in the majority.
Right.
Again, let's look at what the numbers are. 429, 529 for diesel as I see these 18-wheelers go by. I feel for them and every family that's enjoying this. Again, my name is Chris Jacobs. I have the honor of representing the 27th Congressional District and hopefully we represent the gerrymandered 24th District, but we're waiting on the court to see what happens there. Now, February inflation reports show the cost of gasoline up 8% nationally last year. We also hit another 40-year record high jump in inflation across the board. 40-year record high. But it didn't have to be like this. President Biden is blamed in his policy and no one else. On his first day in office, President Biden signaled to the world that American energy independence is no longer a priority. Biden canceled the Keystone Pipeline on day one. Biden made regulatory changes to make new domestic production impossible in this country. And Biden put a moratorium on all new drilling in the federal land. President Biden and his administration's actions of last year and their hostility towards American production have set the high prices we are seeing today. Before the invasion of Ukraine, Americans were already getting squeezed at the pump by Biden's inflation-caused taxes and his reckless policies. In fact, the national average for a gallon of gasoline had risen over $1 in the year before Russia took on this reprehensible move in Ukraine. And 1 month ago, prior to the invasion, we had a 40-year record inflation jump. International events have, yes, set prices higher in the past weeks, but President Biden cannot hide from the fact that his policy caused this financial gap. Reprehensible for him to bring him to try to take advantage of this great situation to get out of the responsibility of his reckless policy. And Additionally, what is more concerning are the report the president was negotiating with hostile foreign nations to secure oil releases into the market. The administration has turned its back on American producers and is openly tying our future and our future prosperity to hostile nations. This is simply unacceptable. You'd think the president would have learned by now his reckless policies are bad for America. But this week he released his budget, which included roughly $45 billion in additional new taxes on domestic oil production. That's the message he's sending, even now, to domestic producers. We are going to penalize you for trying to do more. He is doubling down on the very policies that are killing Americans. Right now, in Western New York, people are choosing between filling up their tank and buying food for their family or buying medication. The president abandoned them. Their financial situations are dire. The president must reverse course of his administration immediately and allow the full force of U.S. energy production to be unleashed. We have millions upon millions of barrels of oil and natural gas resources right under our feet in this nation. We have the ability to produce it cleanly. Let's just say that. This is environmentally as well the right way to go. We produce oil and gas 41% better or cleanly than Russia. So when we shut things down and get dependent on places like Russia, it's bad for the environment. So even the Green New Deal people should be aware of this, and they're not. Nothing right now better illustrates just how critical this is that we take back the House in November. We must take back the House. We are going to take back the House. I will just conclude by this. If there's one word to describe the Biden and Pelosi administration, it is crisis. It is crisis after crisis. We have the energy crisis, we have the inflation crisis, we have the southern border crisis. The crisis is going to get a lot worse. We have what happened in Afghanistan. That crisis that has led directly to what we're dealing with, the people that are suffering in Ukraine. This administration is the worst administration in my lifetime. It is time that this end, that it will start with us taking over the majority next year. And that is why I'm here today to fight for the people of Western New York and also to support our next congressman from this area, the Brown Singletary. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm proud to stay here with Chairman Langworthy, and I'm proud to be soon be working with Congressman Jacobs. Today we're calling on President Biden to unshackle American energy and provide relief for the American people. People like the residents of Monroe County and Ontario County, and the people standing here behind me. The president not wanting to produce domestic energy right here in the United States is causing people in Monroe and Ontario County to make tough decisions, to make tough choices, to whether to put food on the table or gas in their car. The destructive policies must be reversed. The destructive policies of this administration must be reversed. The president must stop catering to Nancy Pelosi and people like Joe Morelli's Progressive Caucus, who just recently called for President Biden to double down on his executive power to declare climate change a national emergency and to ban fossil fuel drilling on public lands, putting more pressure on the American people. For the next millennium, Biden is calling for the release of 1 billion barrels of oil per day from the strategic petroleum reserve. In the United States, we consume, on average, 20 million barrels of oil per day. That is just a drop in the bucket. That is like pouring a cup of water into Lake Ontario. A drop in the bucket. That is a temporary fix. The hardworking people behind you, the Monroe County, Ontario County, do not want to see this. They want a long-term solution. Tapping into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was meant for national security emergencies, not political emergencies, not for trying to win a midterm election. They have no solution. They are throwing spaghetti at the wall. But what they fail to realize is that the spaghetti that they're throwing at the wall is too costing Americans a lot of money with the 8% inflation that we're facing today. The long-term solution to our problem, is the president unshackling American energy and providing relief for the American people. Make American energy independent. And let's stop relying on foreign countries.
All right, folks, we'll take any questions you have now. Love Rochester. God bless you all, and thanks for coming out today.
All right.